On today's episode of things that literally nobody asked for, a live-action Invincible movie is in the works. I have so many problems with this. Let's get into all the details. As you might have noticed, it does say an Invincible movie is still in the works. That is not a typo. Because yes, if you take a time machine all the way back to the beloved year 2017, before the Invincible series ever existed or released, you can actually find out that they were developing a live-action Invincible movie. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg were set to write and direct this thing, and it was probably going to come out by around like 2020, but it was just in development for so long, the show ended up getting picked up and nothing happened with this. Everybody really just assumed that this was a scrap project that we'd never see now. Oh, but don't you worry, nothing is ever really scrapped in Hollywood when there's money to be made, and now that Invincible is actually way more popular, Robert Kirkman has just provided an update on this Invincible movie that everybody forgot about, saying, don't worry guys, it's still actively in development. This all happened at San Diego Comic-Con. He was holding a round table and people asked him about it, so we got into a bunch of details about this thing. He started off just saying kind of normal stuff, saying it's still in development, we're still working with Universal, you know, the show is going well, I think the movie has to be perfect, and that's why it's taking so long. First of all, when something is taking over 6 years to develop, that is already a red flag in my opinion. But where things start really getting alarming are his comments saying that because in relation to the show, it has to provide a different experience, which is obviously true if you're translating something that is a very long comic series and now TV show into like a 2 or 2.5 hour film. He's saying it has to be true to the beloved Invincible in some interesting ways, but it has to be its own thing and stand on its own as well, which is where all my problems with this start. This is reminding me of the Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action adaptation that Netflix did earlier this year in all the worst ways. Now let me explain myself. I actually did enjoy this series. I thought it was a solid like 6 or 7 out of 10 because the casting I thought was spot on, and I still had a lot of fun seeing this story again. My biggest problem, and almost everybody's biggest problem with this, is that they were just changing random elements of the story, adding things from season 2 in this season, taking different characters out of it and jamming things together, and it felt like they were making things different just for the sake of being different and justifying its own existence as a live action adaptation, because they felt like, oh, we have to make it different in some way, shape, or form. Which is exactly what it sounds like they're trying to do with this Invincible movie. They're like, hey, we just want to make this movie to get the box office dollars, and we have to make it different in some way, or else people are going to say, hey, you're just giving us the same story in a different format now. She basically comes out and says that it has to be better than the show is in a lot of ways, because to get a movie audience, it's tough. You have to get audiences in the theater, and that's a very difficult process, and so on and so on. He did at least joke down here saying the process is taking so long, maybe Timothy Chalamet will play Omni-Man, which I'll admit is kind of funny. The thing is, I don't understand why they're trying to do this and force this beloved show that is in animation and is gonna exist for like 7 or 8 seasons. He said he wants it to go on. Why are we gonna now start a separate timeline in a live action movie? You can simply cash in on the live action TV show in the movie format. All you have to do is do what anime has been doing successfully for a long time. You either release like the final episodes of the season in theaters before you put it on Amazon Prime, or before the new season comes out, you put the first episode in theaters and you can let people get an early look at it. Yes, the fan base is nowhere near as massive as Demon Slayer's, but Demon Slayer literally just puts out episodes of their TV shows pretty much in theaters and rake in hundreds of millions of dollars. Invincible could have decent success in theaters. You don't even have to do the thing where you're putting certain episodes out in theaters. You could have like an 8-episode season and then the actual finale releases in theaters for like 3 months exclusively in theaters, and then it comes out to Prime, and that's like the end of season 3 or something. You could do this in so many other ways and milking it in a live action adaptation. You see this time and time again, adapting different books that are longer and naturally fitted to being in a TV show format, and jamming them into a movie almost never works. Let me know. Maybe I'm overreacting on this, and like I said, it's gonna be a long time, probably at least like 3, 5, even 10 years by the comments he's making until we see this. So it's not something to immediately worry about. I'm just still not on board with this in any way, shape, or form.